All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. One of the perks of having a radio show is that you get to speak to congressmen. The thing I've never done yet, I've never gone up, and I'm not hinting, I've never gone up to see one of the offices, right? Mm-hmm. We've had a couple of invitations, but we've not gone. So the other day when this horrible incident happened where there was a shooter at the Republican baseball game, everybody had questions about it, right? And the one question I had after it was all done, and it sounds like hopefully everybody's going to be okay, right? Except for the shooter, which that's okay with me. But I was just wondering about the spirit of Congress and the way everybody is feeling. I know that's kind of a warm and fuzzy way of looking at it because they got a serious job to do up there. But sometimes, you know, the what do they call it in a job? The culture of the job, the culture of the workplace. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes that does play a role in how effective you are. And so I was wondering, so I asked you to contact the office of Congressman Ted Yoho, and he was gracious enough to say, yes, he'll come on. And so it's really, I think it's my first time talking to him. I don't think we've had him on before. No. Good morning, Congressman Yoho. What an honor. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Good morning, Larry. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Are you in D.C. right now?
Yes, sir. We're up here in D.C.
So what is the culture, and I don't mean necessarily in the long term, but in the past week since that shooting, has it helped? It's kind of an odd thing to ask, but that's what the news is saying, is that everybody's kind of, okay, we've been a little bit too rough on each other. Let's let up a little bit. Or is that all the press telling us that stuff?
No, I mean, there's a somber mood up here, obviously. Steve Scalise is just a great individual, as were the other people that were injured. And we can't say enough about the Capitol Hill Police and the security detail that was there.
Yeah.
But there's also a feeling of unity, and, we see things unraveling in this country, and we realize that we have a big footprint on that, or a big say, in that we want to tell people, you know what, you need to put party politics aside and let's start doing what's best for this country and get the vitriol out of here. And that person that did that shooting, that guy was nothing more than a coward.
Yeah.
He was a bad individual, and he did a cowardly act and on his way out. And it's just, people need to come to their senses, and that's not the way to fix politics. We've got a democratic process that we use to preserve our constitutional republic,
right.
And that's the way you fix the system.
I think the demonization of our elected officials has gone too far, and I hope that people who listen to this show know that we have not been a party to that. But you hear it all the time, and all shows don't do it. But I hear it in the radio because I listen to radio all the time. But I think it serves against all of us when we demonize one side or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have such a huge responsibility, Larry, broadcasting. Words do matter. You don't know how they're going to affect somebody. I have found that out in my position now. They carry more weight. You're on the radio. People are hearing your words, and so they say, this guy must know what he's talking about. So you can affect people. And if you're hearing stuff that you just know is wrong, turn off the radio. Turn off the TV is what I tell people. And I can't watch broadcast news. It's the hatred is out there, or the anger is out there, and I'm talking about both sides. I see it.
Yeah.
Look for those things, get the facts, turn off the radio, and do your own research.
So just staying with that topic just for a second more, if we could, I feel like, here's how I feel. Okay, I'm registered as a Republican. I have a brother registered as a Democrat. My brother is the smartest guy I know. Okay, but yet we disagree on things. But I always think, okay, there might be something I'm missing. A smart guy like him. And so that's really, I think, the attitude. And I'm hoping he's thinking the same thing in reverse. I'm hoping he's considering me relatively smart. Yeah. And so that's what I'm wondering, if that culture exists in D.C., in Congress, I should say. And it should. It sounds like it does. It sounds like that's what you have.
There is. And, I mean, we've got a lot of friends on the Democratic side. But then it comes down to philosophies, the things that divide us. And, a lot of what we see up here, you have the Republicans and Democrats, and you have the far conservative, members of the Freedom Caucus that came up with the Tea Party, which I'm a member of that. And then you have the liberal progressive on the other side, which is more socialist. And that side has been marching to an essay written by Woodrow Wilson in 1887, and it's called Democracy and Socialism. And I would encourage people to read it. It's a short essay, but it pretty much outlines the divide in our country. You know, if you listen to or believe in the very basic tenets of America, our rights come from a creator, government was instituted by we the people, and everybody has the opportunity of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. In that essay, Woodrow Wilson said that the role of the federal government is to provide for the needs and wants of society, that the government can provide and perform better than the individual, and that the individual rights come secondary to the needs of society. Those two are opposing beliefs. And, you know, the liberal progressives have been marching to that ideology for 140 years.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I've always felt like if both sides agree you need to build a bridge, but the arguing points are how to pay for that bridge, that also is a dividing line in a lot of things. Healthcare is a good example. We know we need healthcare. So now the big argument is not that we need it, but how do we pay for it? And I think that's what you're facing. I mean, that's in today's news.
No, and that is, in fact, I was talking to a Democratic colleague yesterday, and we had this very same talk. You know, we were focused on our national debt. You know, we are going to be the next Greece or Puerto Rico in 5 to 7 years if things don't change drastically up here because of the mandatory spending, which is coming from Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So that is the goal that we're shooting for, is how do we fix that? And we both agree that that is a major problem. You know, when I get a report at the beginning of the year that says Social Security is going to be cut 25% across the board within 12 years, that's pause and concern for all of us. So we can focus on, all right, here's the problem. Let's work at getting a solution. And that's the bridge you were talking about, where we can create that compromise that needs to happen, not for a political party, but for what's best for America and American citizens.
And that's not just what you feel, sir, but you really have the uncanny ability to listen to all of your constituents, because not all Republicans voted for you, and there were a lot of Democrats that voted for you. So you're treating everybody the same as individuals. You're not allowing the political party to get in the way while you're looking out for the people you represent.
Well, you're absolutely right. I can't afford to look at that. And, you know, when I first ran, I remember it was right when I was beginning to announce, and I was in a line in the public supermarket over by where I live, and somebody said, "Well, you're running for Congress, right?" And the lady behind me said, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat?" I said, "I'm an American." Because we've got to look beyond party. And, absolutely, you know, I was critical of President Obama, but I'm also the guy that voted against John Boehner and ran against him. I don't serve a party. We can't at this level. We need to serve a nation and what's best for this nation. And it's made up of Republicans, Democrats, libertarians, non-party affiliation. And we can't serve a particular party, but we can serve to protect our founding principles, our core values, and preserve our Constitution that makes America what it is.
You know, philosophically speaking, I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but Donald Trump could easily have been a Democrat. And the idea that there's pushback for Donald Trump because he's a Republican is absurd, because he could easily have run under the Democratic ticket, and much of his philosophies were not that different. Maybe a few that wouldn't have fit into the Democratic mindset, but I don't know. I think we do have this crazy demonization of the R's and the D's. It's something I hope. I mean, you're making sense when you talk. I'm hoping everybody else up there is making sense.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, if we start putting people in categories, Republican, Democrat, ultra-conservative, ultra-liberal, we add to that schism and that divide in this country.
Right.
And if you were to ask, you know, a Republican, you'll find out that a lot of them are pretty liberal in maybe some of their social beliefs. And if you ask some of the liberal Democrats, they're liberal in their social beliefs, but they're very fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
So there's a melding of these two, and so we've got to work with those individual people, put the party delineations apart. I introduced a bill to reform foreign aid. I came up here to get rid of it, but after being here for 4 years, you become more learned that if you cut foreign aid off, which I ran on, as General Mattis said, if you get rid of foreign aid, you're going to have to buy more ammunition. And so knowing that and the possibility of getting rid of it is very slim, like the Department of Education or these other things. So if you can't get rid of it, reform it to where it's better, and then keep working to get more and more refined to where you're weaning countries off from aid to trade. And we put this bill in, and Jim McGovern is a member of the Liberal Progressive Democratic Party, and he's as close to socialist as anybody I know. He got on our bill, and there was a commentator said if somebody like Yoho introduces a bill and somebody like McGovern can get on that bill, there must be something to this. And we look forward to doing more of that.
Yeah. Even with just a little thing you said in the last 2 minutes, that speaks to your constituents in such a great way. It helps us understand what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. So with that said, I know you're very busy, but if you can find it in your schedule somehow to come on now and then and talk to our listeners, your constituents, that would be awesome. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the right to ask you to do this, but
but if you can do that and just stay in touch with our office, we'll be happy to help you anytime.
All right, Congressman Ted Yoho, thank you so much for what you're doing.
And Larry, I heard you in the beginning. Everybody from our district, regardless of party, regardless of whether you voted for me or not, has a standing invitation to come visit your office in Washington, D.C. It's not mine. It's your office. So feel free to come up.
Oh, you want to go to D.C.?
Sure.
Oh, my gosh, I'm coming up. I want to see where you
Come on. You can broadcast from the Capitol.
All right. I got it. I'm going to do this. Thank you, Congressman. Right. Thank you. It's an honor, and our prayers to everybody up there, especially Congressman how do you pronounce his name? Scalise. Thank you.
Steve Scalise.
Scalise.
All right. Take care. God bless.
Thank you. All right. We will be right back.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or